All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people just like you and just like me. So Vince Neil participated in something called Drinksgiving. I mean, with his image as it is, and with the whole sort of Motley Crue history kind of looming over, and some people, of course, have celebrated that history. The movie The Dirt, the documentary, which was actually hard to watch in places. Um, and it kind of shows maybe we have evolved somewhat in society, the way we treat women, and we don't objectify women as much. Although, let me be clear here. Rock and roll as a sport was always something meant, especially if you were a guy and you were in a band, you were trying to impress the ladies, no question. But of course, that evolved, and maybe it evolved into something that wasn't a good thing. But what's weird is I hear that in places it still goes on. Some of the things I saw back in the 1980s, going backstage to a few heavy metal and hard rock type concerts. Yeah, stuff you just can't unsee. Anyway, in the case of Vince Neil, right, he's supposed to do this big stadium tour next year, right? The summer of 2022. It's Motley Crue, Poison, Joan Jett, and Def Leppard, who I believe should probably be the headliner. I mean, why put the pressure on Motley Crue? Give it over to Def Leppard. Motley Crue can be one of the warm-up artists. However, I don't know if they're going to switch the order of who goes on stage first, but my guess is Motley Crue is supposed to be the headliner throughout. Now, people have been complaining that Vince Neil is not in good shape. In fact, what's weird is he does this concert, right? And no mention of just how many weeks ago where he literally fell off a stage and supposedly broke some ribs. I mean, that's what was said to us in the media. So again, the media, as we know, on various issues, I have been very blunt as to how I feel about all of the media. And that includes the rock media, which buys into pretty much every narrative the legacy dinosaur media puts out, and they just parrot the same thing. No independent thinking, no sticking it to the man, no skepticism. In fact, if you're a skeptic, you're called like denier. And so I guess I'm a Vince Neil denier because I read something where he fell off the stage. It looked like they actually had video of him falling off the stage, right? So yeah, it appeared he had fallen off the stage. Here he is performing a free concert in Vegas. Somebody actually said, who would ever pay to go see Vince Neil at this point? And somebody corrected that person and said, don't worry, it was a free concert. So you're getting your money's worth. Now, let's be honest here, okay? Vince having trouble just kind of keeping up with these songs. Not just the notes that are hard to hit, but the speed at which Motley Crue music goes by. It's not known to be slow and easy to keep up with. If you know all the lyrics to these songs and you can sing with them, you're pretty artful. You're going as fast as the song, whether it's Kickstart My Heart. I don't even know all of the Motley Crue catalog, but pretty much every song I hear other than like Home Sweet Home is going to be something pretty difficult to try to sing. Vince Neil, 60 years old, he, again, did not exactly succeed so far in this whole workout regimen that he's supposed to be on. I'm just saying it. I know a lot of people who enjoy this music and who want to celebrate these old timers. They just think everything is fine. There's really nothing to see here. It's just kind of sad, the condition he's in. and somebody should just do an intervention, but everybody is in denial, right? They're deniers. Getting back to deniers, they're not skeptics, they're deniers. So I just don't know how he's going to do this tour. Is he fully recovered from the fall? I mean, he looked all right on stage, based on the fact that if he fell and broke some ribs, he probably should still be recovering. That's what I would think. But again, we probably don't know the full story. And a lot of fans just feel as though a band like this that had a difficult, hard rocking, fast paced catalog, you either have to replace the singer or the singer has to be in excellent physical condition in order to pull this off. And on the stadium tour, there probably will be lots of vocal track assistance. Just going to be honest. Maybe Def Leppard won't do it, but I can, and maybe Poison won't do it, but I can guarantee you Motley Crue is going to have to do this. They're the headliner. And if any of these vocals drop out, you're going to hear it immediately. And Vince right now is somebody who may skip a few beats. So they're going to need some AI to get this band through. And I'm not really that concerned or excited or worried about the stadium tour. It would be cool if this had happened, I don't know, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, tops. But, this is just music that's hard to perform. And if you're not going to replace the singer, then it might be, and I know Motley Crue already did that, and Vince is back, and Vince is the name that will bring in some people. But all of these bands are using name ID and branding as a way to get people to come out and see them. And this is a big problem for many hard rock fans, heavy metal fans, whatever, who wanted to hear more great music in the 90s, some new bands, some new talent. And there have been a number of great bands that nobody's ever heard of. Nobody's probably heard of Crazy Licks in the United States. Nobody's probably heard of them. And I could go down the list of bands that are on record labels that put out music like Motley Crue, right? Or in that genre that nobody's ever heard of here in the United States. And again, it's just one of those things, I think, that was set up. We were all kind of set up for this. Some of us aren't too old to rock and roll yet. If a band came along, like here's another band, Dirty Honey, right? So they're out there and yeah, they're performing live and people are showing up. But that band, a band like that, should have been able to break through as big as any of these bands that came out of that era. But even with the talent of a band like Dirty Honey, they're not really able to make the same kind of impact. Like most of the people who like Motley Crue probably haven't heard of Dirty Honey. And I've talked about them a few times on this channel. Of course, they're more like the Aerosmith, Black Crowes sound. They're not as aggressive and glam rock oriented as Motley Crue, but I like that sound better than the Motley Crue sound. And, they should be all over radio. I know they're on a few mainstream rock stations. It's hard to keep them away because they're that good. They keep coming back with new material that's even better than the stuff they had released prior. So the cure to like the Vince Neil problem and the Motley Crue problem and all of these bands that are aging themselves out of credibility, because that's really what this is about, is new stuff that comes along and replaces. Now, if you want to listen to Motley Crue and have it sound kind of like the Motley Crue you remember, then they need to replace the singer and they need to find somebody who can do this Vince Neil shtick and who's probably at least 30 years younger. Because this is just a brutal catalog, much like so many of the catalogs in these bands from the 80s, 70s and 80s. It's just really hard to sing. And there are only a few singers who've been able to maintain some dignity in getting into this age category. This isn't crooning, right? This is screaming, shouting, yelling, and delivering on these songs that you used to rock out to in the car, and you still do because they're on the radio. But as far as going to see a live performance, I don't know. I think this sets up a lot of people for embarrassment. Like they're going to be embarrassed to go after they go and see what they're going to see. They're going to be like, why did I spend, $300 on this nosebleed ticket, or 2 tickets maybe they can get for that cost? I don't know what the prices are going to be. Why did I do this when I could have just stayed home, had my adult beverage, put on the CD and relaxed, and just didn't bother with the parking and the traffic and the crowds and the annoying people and the QR codes and everything else that you're going to have to deal with. So I know I'm very pessimistic, but when I see something like this Vegas thing, I'm like, and people are really excited about going to see this. And yeah, it was a free concert. So if you were wandering around, you might go and hang out and listen to it. I would do it as like the guy who is watching, the car accident, the aftermath, and wondering if anybody's going to get hurt. Maybe Neil will fall off the stage again because he did before. And, he just walked right off the stage. And I'm like, okay, that wasn't in the script, right? And here he is again. So maybe he learned his lesson. He's going to stay. Maybe they marked it off with some tape or something. So he knows, don't go, Vince, don't go past this line. All right. So maybe if he stays healthy enough, they can put him out there again. He can wear bigger shirts. I know how he does this because I do it too, but I'm not performing for thousands of fans. You wear a bigger and bigger shirt and you start to look like, you don't need to go on that. I don't know, that Valerie Bertinelli, was that Jenny Craig regimen? You don't have to do that. But apparently he had personal trainers. He had a machine that was supposed to shake it all off. Like I want that machine if it actually works, but my guess is it probably doesn't work. So, all right. So that's my video about Vince Neil, Motley Crue, and the stadium tour, which I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll see. He may fool us all, and then we'll all pay high ticket prices and we'll have a great time.